Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Movie Bucket here on Screenstealers. Hope you grabbed your popcorn, soft drink, and a soft pretzel. It's time to talk about another fabulous movie. I'm Brook. I'm passionate about pop culture. I just did a different intro. Oops. And you know what? I'm here to have a good time.
Wonderful.
Period. And hello, I'm River, and I cried a whole ocean while watching this. That's the sea in question.
Yes. And hola, I am Eduardo. I am the seal fairy of this podcast. I put on the coat, I went to the ocean, and I turned into a beautiful white seal. And I also cried a whole river watching this movie, so I relate.
And joining us today is one of our good friends, probably the biggest movie buff that all three of us know, David. Hi, David.
Yes, I know a lot of you were expecting Bob Mackie, Steven Spielberg, Divine, or John Waters, but it is none of them. It is me, David Healy.
Much better, in my opinion.
I would rather have you than no shade, the decaying corpse of a drag queen. Real talk.
But that would be camp. That would be camp.
That would be so Pink Flamingos, but
Yeah.
yeah. So welcome back to the Movie Bucket here. It is still Oscar nominations month. And like we mentioned last week, we are talking about from the 2015 Academy Awards nominated for Best Animated Feature, Song of the Sea from 2014. It is an Irish movie, very, very Irish movie.
Yes.
Made by Cartoon Saloon, also known for The Secret of Kells, which also got nominated for Best Animated Feature, I believe in 2009. 2009 Oscars or 2010 Oscars. It was the same year that like Coraline and Up got nominated. I think 2010 Oscars.
Yep.
So a very lovely collection of movies that year and this year. Nominated for Best Animated Feature at the 87th Academy Awards.
I'm confused though. I just started with last week's episode, so the theme is Oscar nominated. It's not melancholy animated films. That's not the theme we're going for.
That's not.
I thought you were that, David.
Damn.
You know what? You blocked us.
Yeah, real hard.
You got it.
Specifically
Real
me.
hard.
Yeah, so nominated at this particular Oscar ceremony in Best Animated Feature was The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, of course, Tale of the Princess Kaguya, and the winner that year, which was Big Hero 6. Now, I want to be clear. I have now seen all 5 of these movies. I love Big Hero 6. Questionable decision by the Academy.
Yeah, I haven't watched Princess Kaguya, but even I know that should have won probably.
It's one of the bigger controversies within Best Animated Feature. If you were to ask the staunch Oscars people and be like, oh, what really which of these Best Animated Feature snubs is the one that offends you the most? Princess Kaguya is going to be one of the ones that pops up more often than not. Not to say that this movie could not have been in that conversation as well, but when you're arguably competing against one of the best Japanese animated films of all time, it's stiff competition.
Yeah.
I actually never saw it. This might get me canceled, especially since I'm about to go to Japan next week, but I'm not a big anime fan. Which is kind of funny because I feel like this Cartoon Saloon is kind of the Irish version of anime, and I love that. But yeah, so I never watched that one.
I have never seen it either. I'm not really an anime fan per se. I haven't watched enough. That's the thing. Like, I feel like I need to still get more into it. Like the anime that I like is like Avatar, like Aang, Korra, and that is my tea. But movies, not that much. Akira was I think
Loved
the
Akira.
one like the one that I'm like, okay, after seeing that, I'm like, okay, I might start getting into it more. It sold me
I agree.
for sure.
I was going to let Eduardo talk because everybody else.
I was just gonna say I agree. Like that's not much I can say really. Like I am a little bit more of a fan of anime, I think, than both of you are. Not I believe I label myself as a poser. I watched some anime, but not enough to really know a lot of it. So I just like watch some, and I never really finish a lot of the animes that I start watching because I like that just happens with me with any shows that I watch. It's hard for me to like keep it consistent, but I do appreciate a lot of the animation that goes into anime and like how hardworking the people that are making it like work, and I always will appreciate that. I always will appreciate the effort that goes into animating anything, whether it's anime or whether it's something like this. Either way, I think it's incredible work and it's super complicated, and so I will always give it huge props.
I feel like anime in the award system gets kind of the same treatment that international movies get. Like it's kind of very, it's giving that same energy. So it doesn't surprise me that it's not rewarded enough, you know?
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Specifically, we're talking about Best Animated Feature Film. We've only had 3 foreign films win that category at the Oscars since they got introduced. Now, granted, 2 of those winners have been relatively recently. Is Pinocchio considered a Mexican movie? I'm not sure.
I would say so.
Okay,
Yeah,
then we've had
sure.
4. Then we've had 4. So we have this most recent winner with Flow. The year before with Boy and the Heron, the year before that with Pinocchio. So our last 3 have all been international. And then you have to go all the way back to the second Best Animated Feature Award going to Spirited Away in 2002. So, which again, kind of hard to compete with borderline perfection. Yes. So talking about that specifically before we get into the meat and potatoes of this actual movie, Best Animated Feature Film has been, like we mentioned last week, going through a bit of a rebirth at the Academy Awards in these last, I'll say, 5 or so years. We've really been seeing that pick up coming in places like Pinocchio winning, Boy and the Heron winning, Flow winning. I'm going to say Spider-Verse when it won. It was kind of a bit of a push-button reset to what was winning Best Animated Feature for a long time, because the joke has been for years, it's Pixar deserves an Oscar award. And that's not saying some Pixar movies don't deserve an Oscar.
A lot of them did. The ones that got their awards. I will say, I don't remember every single one, but I will say I agree with like 9 out of 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
but
Pixar
there's space
won,
for more.
Yeah, Pixar won for Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up, Toy Story 3, Brave, Inside Out, Coco, Toy Story 4, and Soul. So Pixar has
that's the one. Toy Story 4 is the one that I'm like, no, absolutely not. I don't even know what was competing with.
It was
good.
Care. No. It was good.
I'm not saying it wasn't good, but it wasn't
Oscar
like
winner.
Toy Story 3, you know.
Klaus was nominated that year. I just want.
You know how I feel.
I mean, Wolfwalkers could have beat Soul.
I definitely think it could have. And I was kind of shocked.
I believe you.
Didn't.
It's next on my list. Trust.
Good.
I was kind of surprised when it didn't win that year, because I'll be honest, 2020, when you're comparing it to a lot of the other Best Animated Feature years, not the strongest year. Wolfwalkers is also
Onward. I love Onward.
I also love Onward. I prefer Onward to Soul. That's my hot take for that year. But the reason we're bringing up Wolfwalkers is because it's also made by Cartoon Saloon, who made both this Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea, of course. So are we ready to talk about the actual movie, though? Now that we've discussed the Oscars just a smidge. A rather competitive year for Best Animated Feature when this came out, but I gotta say, I was really, really enjoying 85% of this movie.
Okay.
We'll get into your issues, or I don't know. But I will say that because this was my choice, kind of my choice. Mine and Jack helped. We put our little movies on the hat, and then Jack chose one, and this was chosen.
Jack was
and the reason Jack in the hat. And the reason why I chose this one is because I saw it for the first time, I think like 2 years ago-ish, randomly. Didn't know anything about it, just put it on and watched it. And I fell in love with it completely, and then never returned to it. And at the time, I didn't see that it was Oscar nominated. So when we were doing this, I was looking at because I love animation, so I was looking through the animated nominees. And then I saw that and I saw this title, and I was like, oh, that's the one. Because I wanted to revisit it. And I wanted the people that didn't watch it, Eduardo and Brook, to watch it. I wanted to share it with you because I loved it so much the first time.
Wow, I was about to mention, this is mine and Eduardo's first watch.
Spoiler!
Yeah, this is actually one of the last few Best Animated Feature nominees I hadn't been able to get to. I have about, I think, 5 or 6 left that I haven't seen, not counting the new crop that's about to come out, nominations that are about to come out in like, a week at time of filming.
Literally tomorrow. They come out literally
27th.
tomorrow morning. Yep.
Literally thought it was the 27th. Beside the point.
Well, at the time of filming, right? For people watching, at the time of filming, we're filming on the 21st, so it comes out tomorrow on the 22nd.
Yeah, so by the time this is out, y'all are going to know what's nominated. So,
Any
tell us
guesses?
how excited. Tell us how excited you are to see K-pop Demon Hunters in that nomination.
I am rooting for little Amelie. It's my girl.
I know,
okay?
it's so good. It's so cute.
So good.
Yeah, again, there's a lot of really good options this year. So look at the short list because they posted the list of all the movies that are eligible for it. I will say, I think a lot of these studios are lucky that Neja 2 is not eligible because had it been eligible, China was winning Best Animated Feature this year and there was nothing anyone could have done about it, I don't think.
Yeah.
How inspired would that be right now? Anyway.
I
There
believe
could be a lot of like foreign language animated nominees, like Arco. There could be Scarlet.
That's the one I really want to watch. Arco. It isn't available to me yet. That's the one that I've been hearing that like possibly could beat K-pop, but we'll see.
I'm just
Also,
saying, if Demon Slayer gets nominated this year, I'm going to lose it in a good way, positive way. I'd be shocked. But River and David, this is a rewatch for you. This is actually the third time David's watched this movie. He specifically noted before we started recording.
He beat me. He beat me to it. Oh no! Not beat me. Me being named River and choosing Song of the Sea, and you saw it more times than David.
Yep.
Okay.
The only thing that would be worse is if your name was Saoirse. They really emphasized the C in her name. Saoirse instead of Saoirse.
Lord.
So something I wanted to just go ahead and say, all I knew was that this was a movie by Cartoon Saloon, which means it was going to be extremely Irish. 1, never have a problem with it, but that's kind of their brand. But 2, I saw the trailer and I've seen pictures and I knew this movie was going to be pretty. I am happy to say that it delivered on both of those fronts in spades. Unabashedly Irish, just like their other work. It's the cultural aspects of this movie just tell such a really fun story. It's set with this really lovely backdrop that was really enjoyable for me. And then the art, there's not another studio that does art like Cartoon Saloon because it's relatively simple, but they pull such incredible colors in all of their pictures. Something that River mentioned when we were discussing this movie was that you could kind of take any picture from this movie and it could be an art piece. Something kind of like Akira.
Literally any time you pause that movie at literally any time throughout the whole hour and a half, you can hang it in your house as art. Yeah. Literally every shot.
So those were 2 things that really impressed me.
And the score with having song in the title, like the score and the music of this movie is really great too. And like you mentioned, the fact that it has the cultural aspect to it gives it another layer that makes it more rich because like at what I took from the plot, it's like a mix of Celtic, like what's the word? Folklore? I don't think that's the word, but like Celtic mythology and mixing it with like real life situations and problems and stuff that we live through, like brother and sister relationships, mother's death, spoiler alert, grief and all of those things, forgiveness, like real topics that are, mixed with the mythology and the magic. That really makes it rich for me.
Yeah, I will say, like, I knew not much about this movie. I also watched the trailer. We all watched the trailer together, actually. And like Brooke said, I knew that this movie was Irish. I knew that it spoke on Celtic mythology, folklore, fairies, and like on this kind of like magic. And yes, it delivered on that, but I wasn't expecting it to hit as close to home as it did, with things of like brother and sister relationships, tough relationship with your parents, whether it's your mother or your father, and like having grown up being taken care of by a single father. That personally like is something that's very near and dear to me, and like those struggles of like people thinking that they know better than you what you want and what you should do, and like this movie hit like a ton of bricks to me. Like it was absolutely beautiful, it was absolutely stunning, it was everything that I wanted it to be and more. And yeah, as I said, it hit super close to home, so that really helped it out a lot, which is always great, right? It's always great when you can relate to a piece of artwork so closely that like it means something to you, and this movie did that to me. So good job, Song of the Sea.
I love that. And also, like you said, you don't have to personally connect and relate to a piece of art for it to be great for you.
Mm-hmm.
But when it does happen, it's such a different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because a lot of people, when they hear animated, they think, oh, it's a kids movie with kid themes, and it's kind of dumbing everything down. But it's so refreshing when you come across movies like this that you can tell are still geared towards kids, but they're not treating them like they're incapable of feeling things that adults feel as well. And so that's what I really love about this movie, is how it goes hard on the themes of grief or abandonment, however you want to view the mother being gone, whether you think she's dead at first or if she just abandoned her family. I think it's just really refreshing to give kids something that they can relate to that maybe Disney and Pixar are too afraid to address. Sure, Disney and Pixar, they have dead parents all the time, but they don't dive into it like we get from this film. Plus, mm-hmm. I think one of my favorite genre of films, and I think it started with Wizard of Oz when I was a kid, but it's when the characters are on a journey and they're meeting all of these new different characters along the way in their journey. I am a sucker for those kind of movies, even if it's like a horror movie where they're doing that. Any sort of movie that does that speaks to me. So I really love that aspect of this film too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and mentioning the dead parent trope, especially when it comes to Disney, dear Lord, like when you're looking at the princess movies, just go through the princess catalog. How many of them have at least one dead parent? I think up until Mulan, I think Mulan was the first Disney princess who didn't have a dead parent.
Well, technically not.
Well, just because she doesn't have a dead parent because she decided to do what she did. Otherwise, she would have a dead parent.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, actually, Sleeping Beauty, Aurora doesn't have a dead parent, technically.
She has non-present parents.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. That doesn't count. That's different. That's a whole different can of worms. We are talking about dead parents, and Aurora's parents are not dead.
Valid. But importantly, though, it's such a trope that, we joke about it, right? It's like, ooh, new Disney protagonist, which their parents will die. Like
their mom.
Also, this movie showing that white people can have culture.
Yeah.
Right.
There you go.
But what I was going to get at, though, it's never really something they majorly go into with Disney. Like, parent dead, I am sad. And that's just kind of how it is. They don't really address it. And I did like that this movie did show, I mean, even if it's 6 years after mom's gone, how much that still affects both her son and her husband.
Yeah. And how they're affected by it affecting them.
And how the little girl is affected by the two men in her life that were affected by that, because she has nothing to do with it. But like, she also lost her mom, right? But she also has a brother that resents her for being born on the night that her, like.
Yeah.
And she has like the two sides. Like she has an overprotective parent that is like really scared of the same thing happening to her. And she has the opposite, which is like a brother that resents you and treats you like shit. But also they have like loving moments even before that. Like he resents her, but he doesn't hate her. Like when she goes into the ocean, like he tries to get her back.
I mean,
even though
because
he's
the dog
scared.
drags him in.
Well, yes, but yes. Also,
What a
fun
good
fact, cu is asshole in Portuguese. So I'm like the body
Oh,
part, not
wonderful.
the, it's like, yeah. So that was, funny for me. Just for me.
Well, yeah. Specifically, though, I do want to give special praise to David Rawle, who is the voice of Ben in this movie. A lot of the time in this movie, he is the only dialogue we hear for large parts of this movie because he's with a dog who, it's a dog, he doesn't talk. And Saoirse, who is mute. So we really, like, he's carrying all of the dialogue in a lot of these scenes, especially during the middle of the movie when they're on their way to wherever they're going, back to the lighthouse. There's scenes where he just has to be the only thing we hear besides the ambient noise in the score, and he does a fantastic job in this movie. This is one of those things that makes me want the Oscars to include a category for voice acting, even if it's just, best male voice acting, female voice acting, even if it's not, there's no lead in supporting, because things like this really
categories, like you don't have to put it on the the televised show, but just give them the awards. I agree.
Give them something, yeah. Because this is something that I think a lot of, especially younger actors, I think he was 13 when he was filming this, according to Wikipedia, would have struggled with that, and it could have gotten annoying, especially with the amount of times they make him say his sister's name in this movie. And
and I still don't know how to pronounce it correctly after hearing it a million times.
Saoirse.
He says Saoirse. Saoirse.
Well, we're
also like
we're bastardizing an Irish name. It's okay. Everyone else does it too.
I will say, every single time I see that name written out, I don't know why, in my brain, it said Siobhan. I always thought that's how you say it. I thought the name was Siobhan instead of Saoirse.
It could have been. It could have been. And to me, you said it many times.
You cannot blame me.
I'm still scared to say it.
There is Siobhan.
Siobhan is
a different name in different spelling.
S-I-O-T-H.
But Brooke, like you mentioned, that she doesn't talk throughout, spoiler, 90% of the movie, but she's still very expressive. Like he is talking to himself, kind of, but it seems like she is talking to him. She's not using words, but like there is an exchange, and so I imagine that, like, for the voice actor behind it, it must have been hard because he didn't have another voice actor to bounce off of. But in the final project, like, it works because we see they did a great job with using the visual to show her trying to communicate as much as she could. And that's very hard to do. I think they did an amazing job with that, because it could have made the movie a little harder to watch, and it could have, been a struggle of this movie, but it wasn't. It actually kind of elevated it.
Yeah.
Because you were kind of like waiting also to see, like, when is she going to finally speak? When is it, like, is it going to have a reason? Like, is it going to have a trigger? Is it going to happen at all? Like, you keep wondering, and so I'm drawn to, like, pay attention to it even more.
It's funny you brought that up about her face being expressive. Not to get myself in trouble again with the anime fans, but that's always been my biggest issue with anime, is how the faces are drawn. Like, there's so much detail in the background and all of the designs, but then you get to the character faces and it's like, oh, done. 5 seconds. Like, it's so simple, and it's hard for me to get a lot of expression from the characters in anime. But you have these cartoon saloon films that also have pretty simple characters, but there's something about the way that they do them where they're still very expressive. And I think that's why I really appreciate this animation style. And I wish I could have that same thing with anime, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
It makes it, and it makes sense, but it's still a very simple design. Like it's not, it's not too much. It's very simple lines. And I think for me, with her character specifically, it was mostly the eyes. Like they did an amazing job, and like also the cheeks, where like it would everything, like the journey that her character took visually. Like she didn't even have to say anything; we could see everything. That's to me is so impressive as someone that studied animation for a little bit. Like that is so impressive.
Yeah, animating
Technically
stuff
speaking.
in and of itself is complicated, but doing non-verbal communication in an animated sort can be really complicated because, like David said, at least when I have tried to do animation, I do struggle a lot with like showing the emotion on the face and like drawing how you show that emotion on your face and how the cheeks distort and how the eyes move and how the eyebrows would move differently. It's so complicated to do nonverbal communication, and this movie was able to do that so well in such a simple art style. And like I said, I always have to give huge props when it comes to animations, but this one even more because, as I said, I have tried to do this, and it's such a struggle to do it that doing it in such a simple art style is absolutely incredible, and it's such a feat in and of itself.
There was one more thing that I wanted to add about the technical side of this, which is how much I love the mix of textures that they have with the background, and the characters are very solid in color, and then the backgrounds are very textured. Like I don't know exactly what the technique that they use, but it seems to me like it's watercolor and then a mix of other art styles, but it's so beautifully done, and it mixes very well together, and also with the beautiful score, because I'm still thinking about, like, I literally went and saved the soundtrack of this movie to listen to like on a walk or like doing the dishes, because it's so calming and so nice.
Yeah. So the typical, this is something that Cartoon Saloon does a lot with their movies, is that it's both hand drawn and computer animated. They use a lot of like 2D techniques to render a movie. And then certain things get a little bit of that 3D texture when they need to show like a dynamic range of movement. It is watercolor based too. So, and that's something that really helps with their colors, like we mentioned, because I don't understand. And this is something we talked about when we talked about Akira between the several months ago at this point. Several years ago, last year.
It feels like it, girl. Oh my God.
Yeah, it feels like ages. About a couple months back, when the three of us talked about Akira, was that I don't understand why studios aren't doing more hand-drawn work. Granted, I get that it takes longer, but Disney, if you
I was gonna say I understand why. I just don't like it.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is, if it takes longer, here's what you do. Disney, have a dedicated hand-drawn team, right? Just have them make a hand-drawn movie every 5 years. If Cartoon Saloon can do it in 5 years, Disney has no excuse. Okay? Every 5 years.
If Leica can do stop motion animations, Disney can do 2D. Okay?
Yeah.
Disney can do a hand-drawn movie again.
I'm sorry.
We haven't had a hand-drawn, traditionally animated Disney film since 2009.
Was it Princess and the Frog, the last one?
Princess and the Frog was the last one.
Damn.
No, with the note that
I heard, aren't they doing one for...
With notes that aspects of the 2011 Winnie the Pooh were hand-drawn, but most of that movie was computer, which pisses me off, because Winnie the Pooh should be hand-drawn. Well, it's also because they had done about, I will say, most of it I think is hand-drawn. They had done about 60% of the movie when Princess and the Frog came out. And then Princess and the Frog didn't do amazing. It did like fine, but it didn't do crazy good numbers. Everybody was just going to see Up. So they diverted a lot of the resources from the hand-drawn team to other projects. And then they were like, okay, Winnie the Pooh, you need to get this movie out on time, on schedule. Have fun finishing the rest of this movie. So a lot of it's computer rendered at the end. And not necessarily the end of the movie, but ending aspects that they were working on, a lot of it ended up getting computer rendered. So like the storybook segments are like that. But
they are. I heard rumors that Disney they are going back to like hand drawn. Allegedly, there is a project that they are doing called Gato about a black cat.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I will again say I will believe it when I see a trailer.
There's pictures already. There's pictures. I'll send it to you.
Send it to me. Yeah. So you had started talking about Saoirse being mute when I had to go use the restroom. My apologies. So I just want to go ahead and get out my biggest problem with the movie. Why does she talk at the end? Why? Because here's my thing. I understand that her whole thing is that a Selkie is a singing fairy. You know, they sing and it's magic and cool and whatever. I don't mind her singing. Don't mind that at all. I think that makes sense. Why is she talking at the end of this movie?
Didn't it say that she could only speak when she had a coat on?
What was that? I'm sorry.
I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, okay, because maybe I might be. But didn't it say in the movie that she could only speak when she put the coat on?
Okay, if that were the case, right, at the end of the movie, she puts the coat on, she says Ben's name a couple times, and then she talks for a minute with her mom. Mom leaves, coat goes away, she's back, and then after during the epilogue, essentially, she's just talking. And it bothers me.
That's because she's human now. Because she gave up the spoiler. Because when she gives up the remember her mom comes back, right, to get her, and her and mom are like going away together, right? Because they're both Selkies. Well, mom is full Selkie, and she's half Selkie, half human, right?
And mom talks too. Yeah.
And mom talks. And so I think it's because she's half and half. That's why it took her so long to talk. And she was only able to talk when she connected with her Selkie side. That's what I got. Or it was because I forgot the word, but like with having trauma of like her being rejected by her brother. Maybe it was only after her brother forgave her in a way, or like stopped resenting her, that she was able to speak. And that's why his name was the first thing she said. I got those two interpretations, like the half Selkie and the brother thing. But also in the end of the movie, it says that if she gives up the coat to her mom, she was gonna go away, and it would close the door between the worlds in a way, right? So she would not be Selkie anymore. She's now human. So that's why I think that's why after she's like speaking normally.
I just find that to be really dumb, and not your explanation, but for this movie, I think it's just a really dumb choice. It is so rare in media to get good mute representation in a film, right? And granted, I'm not saying that every movie needs to tick every diversity box. I don't think that's the case. I think if you have it in your film and it's done in a compelling way, that's great. But when we get mute representation in a show or a movie or anything really, a lot of the time it's the butt of the joke. Like I'm specifically thinking of Rosh on The Big Bang Theory for so many seasons, was just he doesn't talk around women because he's terrified of women, and was the joke, right? It's not funny, right? It's a disability for a lot of people where they just don't speak, right? And granted, I understand the messaging of the movie was not around that, but a lot of her earlier scenes focus on the fact that she doesn't speak when the grandma comes, when she's first getting to the lighthouse, and she's still not talking, right? She makes her that muffin. She's like, it's good for your voice, like trying to get this child to talk. I hate the fact that when she's suddenly a normal human again, she is now just speaking. I get the logic within the movie for it, but I think it takes a lot away from Saoirse as a character for me. I'll just be blunt. I really, really do not like that. It is my biggest problem with this movie. It was enough for me to knock my point down by an entire star. I'll tell you that. It pissed me off that much.
I hear you. I'm not saying I'm like, I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I disagree, but I think that's if that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, like, even keeping the representation part of it, that still is representative of some people. Like, I have a cousin who has an autistic kid who was very nonverbal for so long, and it wasn't until like maybe 8 or so that they started actually speaking. And I know she's 6, so a little bit younger than that, but it still is a representation, even if it might not be the one that you connected with. And I can respect that you were very happy to see this one specific kind of representation, but it still is representing for other people.
No, I see. I understand that. And that was something I considered too, right? Because I know plenty of people, like especially neurodivergent folks, you just start talking later in life because of whatever reason.
Or maybe you start talking too soon, like me. And never shutting up.
And it's not that she started talking. It was the circumstances around how she started.
It's the why. Okay.
It's the why. Okay. Because it's quite literally, we take away the magic end of her, and now she's a normal person and just speaking. Like, full sentences, immediate. There is no anything, right? And when she's first saying her brother's, when she first says Ben's name a couple times before the singing set, the ending of the movie and the climax, before she starts singing, right? Love that. I think that was really good and compelling because that's how a lot of people start talking. They have a couple of things that they are, they say things that's how babies start talking, right? They have words that they just, eventually they develop their speech.
Yeah.
I just really think going from that immediately to fully able to speak in complete coherent sentences almost immediately. And I don't even mean in the epilogue when they're like celebrating Ben's birthday, because that happens and she talks there. There's time in between. I could excuse that. It's literally when they're getting back onto the beach and she's already talking in full sentences. That bothers me. Because instead of it being this, she has developed her speech into like a complete and coherent way that a lot of people do and grow out of mutism, it was literally just a magic block. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. But I also don't want to derail the conversation too much about it. That's just my opinion.
I was interested to know like what, because I saw your Letterboxd review and you mentioned like whatever before we started, and I was wondering what was the thing that the issue that you had. I was interested to hear. I don't agree, but I still think it's an interesting point of view because that's not something I thought about. And now that I thought about it because you were talking about it, it's still like it doesn't bother me personally, but I can see where you're coming from. But it doesn't. To me, I still hold the same opinion on this. But it's interesting. This is why I love doing this, like to know what other people took from the movie and how people interpret. Because to me, like I think that I didn't think how you did, Brook, because my interpretation was what I explained before, like the two reasonings. So to me, it made sense. And I think there's space for both of us to be right in a way, because the movie doesn't really say exactly why she can't speak. So it is open to interpretation, so we can all take our own, put our own meaning to it,
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to say, this movie is terrible, awful, garbage, because no, it's still a good movie.
You scared me. You said we were going to have a spicy conversation.
I mean, I'm not going to say your score, but it's still a decent score. Like it's still, it's fine.
And I want to be clear. Yeah. I think having a spicy conversation, I think that is a spicy conversation. I think it's a very strong difference of opinion, especially between me and
It's not bland.
But it's not, not like we're offended by it. And I'm like, super angry because River feels different. It's just difference of opinion. We have the right to disagree.
No, actually, I hate you, and I think you should suffer.
Oh, well, I suffer daily. Congratulations.
Well, I want to counter this with one of my favorite things about the film. But first, Eduardo, did you have anything to rebuttal with?
Not
To
much.
retittle.
The rebuttal, the retittle.
My personal.
The only thing I would say is, like, for me, throughout this whole movie, I never thought that Saoirse was actually fully mute. I thought it was one of these situations in which Saoirse was going out of her way to choose not to speak rather than, like, not being able to. And so, to me, in the end, when she does speak, it was her choosing to finally open up to her family and to finally be like, okay, I finally let go of, like, this thing that's been holding me back or something. Now I can finally, like, actually be myself and talk like a normal human being without feeling like excluded or like safeguarded by my father or like disliked by my brother. I finally feel like part of the family, and therefore now I can finally use my voice and like say my opinions and share them with the people that are around me. That was my point of view, but like, as I said, as we have said here, all opinions are valid, and your interpretation matters just as much as mine. So,
unless the movie said like, "This is why," it's explicitly said like, "This is why." It's like, and this is why I like it. It can be an allegory for anything.
You know, drag is art, and art is subjective. You know, and that's okay.
We're not here to judge your art.
Well, we are here to judge your art, but
well, yeah.
Okay, now can I get into my thing that I like about this? Another thing I like about this movie.
Diva.
So I want to talk about antagonists / villains in this movie, because we have a few people that can fit in that category. And I think we're used to, like, the Disney and the Pixar of it all. Like, when somebody's a villain, they're bad because they're bad. Like, you didn't invite me to the baby shower, therefore I'm going to curse you, you know?
It's either like envy, or is it like it's because it's for a bad reason, right?
Yeah.
And I think in this film, like, you have several, like, almost everybody in the family is antagonistic at some point. And we have our probably most straightforward villain, which is Maka, that we get later on. But every reason that somebody has for being quote unquote bad, it comes from humanity. They have a reason, and it's usually protecting themselves, protecting others. Especially, there's a big parallel between the granny and Maka. And both of them having to deal with what's happened to their kids, what's happened to their sons. What's interesting,
very similar stories too.
Yeah, what I just realized, it's the same voice actress for both characters. But yeah, Maka, her son, has become this mountain, and basically the same thing going on with Granny. Her son is just a shell of himself. Like,
and they literally live next to the mountain. Like, it's very clear that it's the same story, different times, different, you know.
And both of them also share a voice.
Brendan Gleeson?
Yeah, Brendan Gleeson does both of them. So, like, it's a really good parallel, because at first I heard the voice of Maka. I was like, is that the same lady doing the Granny?
Granny?
Because a lot of the time studios will do that. It's cheaper. You don't have to go out and find another actor to pay to do lines and stuff.
Like we talked about in Anomalisa, like the fact the choice of using the same voice actor is part of, like, it's a deliberate choice to say something as well.
Yeah, like, talk about, like, Aladdin is one of the most famous examples of that, because not only is Robin Williams the genie, Robin Williams is also the merchant at the beginning of the movie. So it leaves a little bit of that interpretation of, could the genie be the merchant? Is that why he has the lamp? Like, and it's led to millions of different fan theories that we do not have time to go into here. But anytime a studio will do that, because studios do this a lot, especially when it comes to, like, minor roles, it's just easier. You can have, you know, Greta Lyle come into your studio, voice 5 different background characters over 6 episodes, and nobody's gonna care, right? Love you, big fan. But, you know, it saves them money, it saves them time. Everybody wins in the end. She gets a booking fee. Everybody's happy. Here, though, they're the only 2 characters, at least in the English version, that have that going on, at least in terms of the main people that we really interact with. the ferryman has the same voice actor. Some of the like minor fairies have voice actorship with other minor characters, but out of the main people that we're constantly interacting with, they're the only ones that do that. And it creates a really interesting parallel that may not have been there, at least not to the same extent, without that. And I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
And also, it's interesting that the villain is someone that was literally bottling up feelings. That's
Exactly.
funny. You know what? To me, that is so
trying
real.
to get other people to suppress their feelings as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you forget.
So real. Like it's
To me-
those are the real life villains as well that we know.
Yeah, and to me, those I don't know. But to me, those kind of villains are always the ones that interest me the most. The ones that genuinely think that what they're doing is genuinely doing good to the world, when in reality they're like making it worse and they just do not realize it. And I like love that Maka genuinely believes that people turning to stone is better than them feeling emotions that they should be feeling, and that she herself turning to stone is better than her feeling sadness, depression, and like all the grief that she should feel because she had to turn her son into a fucking mountain. Like,
And
it's
also,
so interesting.
she was projecting onto her son because she didn't turn him into a mountain because of his pain. It's because of her pain of watching him. It's because not because he couldn't bear the pain. It's because she couldn't bear her pain about him. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't even because I don't. It's great. Unless we have anything else to talk about this, there is one thing that I saw in my notes that I remember. Brooke, did you notice an Easter egg in this movie?
Be more specific, please.
Did you notice a character from a different Cartoon Saloon movie in this movie?
I must have missed it. I'm assuming it's a Secret of Kel's character. I must have missed it.
Yes. So when they are when they're getting on the bus to like go back, Iceland is on the bus.
Really?
Iceland? Yeah.
Iceland, yeah.
With the hair, I'm like, I clocked the hair. I'm like, I know you.
Note to self: we watched Secret of Kel's this week. I haven't watched it in a couple years. I need to watch it.
Yeah,
again.
I watched it
adore
on
that movie.
on Saturday, I think. This weekend.
I saw it on your letterbox.
In preparation for this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I clocked her.
Yeah, quick note, if you haven't looked at any of Cartoon Saloon's other work, I highly recommend. They are an incredible studio. Everything they put out is high quality.
Breadwinner.
I believe every single movie that they have released has been nominated for Best Animated Feature. I could be wrong about that.
The Dragon.
I know 4 have. The first 4 have.
I don't think the Dragon.
I don't know about the last 2.
Oh, you're right. Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna pull up their full.
Because they have 6, right? I know 4 out of 6 were nominated for sure.
Okay, is it My Favorite Dragon? Is that what it's called?
I think that might have been the only one that wasn't. Yeah, My Father's Dragon. Wasn't. But
my least favorite of the ones I've seen.
Okay, actually, sorry. Their first 4, all 4 of those were. So if you want to look into a really great studio that has made some really quality work over their time, I highly recommend checking some of their stuff out. I did have one more thing I wanted to quickly touch on because it's not a huge problem, but it is an issue I have with this movie. Not a huge fan of the sound design for certain aspects of this film. Love the score. I want to be clear. I am not talking about the score.
What specifically? Because I'm very interested.
The sound effects. A lot of the sound effects that they choose in this movie are kind of distracting. One that, this is such a dumb nitpick, but it bothered me in the moment. I had to pause the movie because I was a little irritated. Where Saoirse gets grabbed by this fairy guys because they found the Selkie. And Ben's getting pulled across.
That was so funny, by the way.
Right? Love the scene. But when that semi-truck is coming around the roundabout and is about to hit him, it's the same sound effect that I have heard in so many different things. And it's something after that, I was kind of clocking to see it. Okay, what is the rest of the sound effects package here? There are a lot of those sound effects that kind of come out of the bin of, here are all of these recycled sound effects, and we're going to throw it at this movie. I'm not saying that they need to do a different sound effects package, but it just bothered me because I could literally think of specific other movies with the same sound effects package for certain segments. again, it's a very big nitpick, but it is something that was distracting me while I was watching the movie. So I felt like it was something I should bring up.
Can I give
like,
a positive sound design?
I love the ambient noise, like not like the non-sound effect noise in this movie is really nice.
Yeah.
Just the sound.
The
effects
score
package,
and the songs, right?
the score and the songs are great. It's just the sound effects package is a bit lacking.
Fair.
For me.
I like the dialogue and how sometimes there will be people talking and it's so faint because it's more focused on, like, specifically with the father a few times, like somebody will be talking. I think like Ben will be talking to him and you can barely hear Ben. And that's because the father is just kind of tuning him out. So you're kind of getting that perspective of it. So I thought that was a cool aspect as well.
Yeah, agree. I know that we mentioned it a few times, but like we are, I think, wrapping up right soon. So I just wanted to quickly mention again how fucking beautiful, stunning visually this movie is from beginning to end. Like literally everything about it visually is perfection.
Stunning.
Alicia.
I would agree. I would concur. So now to borrow a quote we have said,
all the nips have been picked.
All the nits have been picked. Anybody have anything else they would like to add before we move on to our?
No more rebuttals.
No more rebuttals. All I have to say is that Saoirse being a leash kid makes so much sense because as a past leash kid, I know that we are all powerful and all annoying. So I understand. I felt that in my bones. We have a secret power all inside of us. The leash kids, we all have that secret power inside of us that we are just waiting to release onto the world. Yeah.
There was one thing. What?
That last sound effect was yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing that I had on my notes that I didn't mention is a very small detail that I appreciated is that when we get to Granny's house and they show the living room, there's a Jesus picture on the wall, and that is so real, and I love that little detail. Well done. Real as fuck.
Okay, also, can I something else I wanted to mention because I totally forgot to do this. When they get to the city, that entire scene of Ben having to leave with Saoirse on the way to going back to the city with Grandma. Oh my Lord. One of the most tragic things that I've ever watched in a movie like this, because it's such a minor detail compared to everything else that goes on with this movie. But again, I want to shout him out here. David Rawle in this role does such a good job selling the heartbreak of the scene for him.
The dog really, jumping, trying to go.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
Felt. Oh, did you also notice that this is a Halloween movie? By the way,
yes, it is.
Because it happens on Halloween. The kids are dressed up like it's a Halloween movie. Technically,
it is indeed a Halloween.
Crazy.
All of you Halloween.
It makes sense with it being like about magic and all of that. Like it.
The veil is thinner between the worlds. Whatever, all this spiel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, for those of you who are curious, yes, we will once again be talking about this movie in October. I'm kidding.
It's gonna be my Halloween pick again. Okay, twice in a year. Trust and believe.
So, with that being said, are we at a good part to talk about our scores?
Yes.
All right, River. As this was your selection, you have the honor of going first, and then we shall proceed clockwise.
Well, this might not happen for every movie that I pick, right? But as I said, to me, this movie is perfect, and I give it a 5 stars. 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Well, it's me now, right? Okay.
Yes.
So, as I said, I felt this movie very near and dear to my heart as someone that has a sister, as someone that grew up with a single father, taking care of him, someone that was abandoned by a couple of years by my mother, that had to leave my dog to like in an unsafe place so that I could have a better living situation. I felt this movie like so hard, like, and I related to it so much, and so that really, really added a lot to the experience. And this movie just being as good as it is, I couldn't give it anything less other than a 5 out of 5.
Okay. Well, I don't give 5 stars very often, so I'll just go ahead and say it's not a
Really?
5.
You don't
Really?
What a
say. Oh,
hell.
you didn't know.
say.
This
Wow.
is
And a
news
5
to
star for me, it doesn't mean it's like the best movie ever. It just means, oh, I want to watch this a lot. And this one, I'm good watching every few years, but I think it's so beautiful. I think it probably is a perfect movie. And yeah, I just appreciate it. It feels like like I was telling River, I've watched it 3 times now, and there's always a few years in between, but it feels like a fresh experience each time I watch it. So I love that about this. I think this is a great film. 4.5 for me.
Nice. Very good.
Sorry, I was doing a thing. There we go. For me, I will say,
Live your truth, babe. Live your truth.
I want to be clear. Before I got to the ending, I was like, I don't see how this ending could, drop my score. So I'm just gonna go and put my score in the letterbox. I had it at 4.5 stars as well. I'm still pissed about the mute thing though, and I don't want to harp on it any more than I already have. I think that plus the sound effects package being a little distracting brought it to a 3.5 for me. With the note that, again, I would like to make clear to the folks at home, I am not the American education system. A 3.5 out of 5 is still a good movie.
I was hoping we talked you up a half a point.
You came close. I will say I did consider bumping it to 4, but then I really thought about it.
It's
and
not too late.
I want to watch it again
You
before
feel
I adjust my
feel.
score.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe on a David watch it a third time. I watch it a second. Maybe on a second watch you will like it more. Maybe you'll like it less. Who knows?
Who knows? So, with that, we have officially almost finished up Oscar nominations month. However, there's a 5th Saturday in January. And as such, it's time for something that's going to become a recurring staple on this here podcast. Welcome to the double feature.
Yes.
So
Science
next
fiction
week's
double feature?
episode, I looked. I really did grab a picture of the lips from Rocky Horror, and I was going to put that up, but for some reason it wasn't working with StreamYard. I'm so sorry to my queer girlies out there. So next week we're going to be talking about 2 movies that are in some way connected, that both meet the criteria for the assignment, not just one of them. Both of these movies were Oscar-nominated films, and I should note that these 2 are sequels, but that does not mean everything. One is a sequel of the other, but that does not mean in the future that all of our movies will be direct sequels. Sometimes it's going to be a very loose connection.
I was going to say they will be related in some way, and we'll bring it up when we get there, but they will be not necessarily sequels.
Yes. So both of our movies here were nominated for Oscars. One at the 1992 Academy Awards was nominated for Best Costume Design. The sequel at the 1994 Academy Awards was nominated for Best Art Direction. And I am so unbelievably excited that next week we will be discussing The Addams Family and Addams Family Values from 1991 and 1993. And why is it on 2 lines?
We are all excited because for the double features, we make these choices together, different from the other weeks where we each have our own individual picks. So we're all excited to get into this because we decided this together. It's been a while since I watched these versions, these movies.
To be 100% clear, because we haven't had the opportunity to sing her praises on this channel yet, I adore Joan Cusack in the second movie.
She should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
We'll discuss. But until then, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on Screenstealers today. and at the Movie Bucket here today. But unfortunately, we have ran out of popcorn. Our soft drink is empty, and no one ever eats more than one soft pretzel. So come and join us next week to talk about both Addams Family and Addams Family Values in our first double feature. But until then, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button, hit the like button. You've been here for almost an hour, so we greatly appreciate you in this moment and on this day. We have a new episode coming out every Saturday, so take your time watching the other episodes. We've already got 2 other episodes live on the channel at this point if you haven't seen either of those. And stay tuned, because after next week, it's a whole new month of movies coming up with a whole new theme. You have no idea what's coming. We do, but you don't. David, thank you so much for joining us here today. David's going to be making some other appearances at different points in the future. So David is not just going to pop in once and leave. So
it's not a hit and run. You're coming back.
It's not a hit and run.
Get ready to see a lot more of David moving forward.
Get ready to see more of David in the future. But until then, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.
Bye.